let's start with Denver since all three of us are on that game. Jim, why don't you go first? Give me the first quarter look for why you like the Nuggets matching up with the Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo they first popped the injury report and it was clean, and then he was listed as questionable with an illness. So maybe he also is going to duck Nikola Jokic in Denver. But I doubt it. Personally, I think he probably plays. He's also listed as probable on the report. Why do you like the Nuggets minus whatever the line is? Probably 1, I would guess, for this in the money on the spread with the Nuggets in the first quarter.
Yeah, I would guess it would be 1, maybe 1.5. I don't see it getting past 2. I'm going to like any number they post for it, basically. They hit the Nuggets first quarter home against the spread has been a wagon for a while now. This year is just a continuation of a trend that they've seen for, their home court in general is great. And Jokic gets a lot of minutes in the first quarter. Combine those two, they've been absolutely amazing in the first quarter against the spread for a long time. They're 16-6 ATS. In the first quarter this season. This is a Bucks team that struggles in the first quarter. They're 18-26-2 against spread in the first quarter. But overall, I was leaning towards the Nuggets for the full game as well, in part because of this debut of Doc Rivers coaching. I think a way to target that even more, the first quarter with the new coach is the most inexperienced the team will get you. They can kind of grow into it over time, over games, maybe even over quarters if they pick it up quick. The very start of Doc's career is going to be this first quarter. We'll see how they, if they come out scheming already. But Denver at home, regardless, is a really good team in that first quarter. So I think just hyper targeting that first quarter market is where I'm going to be for this game specifically.
So this is what's interesting, and this is why I love the workshop. Is I have what I feel is a strong cap on this game. I feel very confident in this pick. I think it's absolutely the right side. Joe, I'm gonna give you the floor to give the cap, but there are certain elements of this that I think that I'm going to push back on, even as I take the same side. But go ahead and give me your cap for the full game, Nuggets -4.
Yeah, so I'm going to echo a lot of what Jim said about Doc Rivers, his first game coaching the team. Obviously, he's been watching the team, consulting the team, being an advisor to the team throughout the course of the season. So I know that there's obviously some familiarity, but I do think that having him on the sideline changes the dynamics like a little bit. The other thing is honestly like Denver, after that really gross win over the Sixers, who didn't play anybody, who were led by B-Ball Paul. I think that Denver, might want to lock in and try to win this game against another, title contender, and really kind of push and defend home court before going out on the road against OKC for a game. Additionally, over the course of the season, Denver's been pretty solid at home, whereas Milwaukee, they have a positive net rating on the road, but it drops pretty precipitously. It's not nearly as good at only plus 1.2. So I think that Denver's been better overall. On dunks and threes, Denver is plus 4.9 in terms of adjusted net, whereas Milwaukee is plus 2.9 in adjusted net. And I think that I don't think it's necessarily likely that Giannis sits. He's not, I don't think that he's trying to duck anybody, for example, but I do think that, given the fact that he is on the injury report, the injury reports have been a little bit tough to depend on lately. But I do think that given the fact that he is on the injury report, there is that slight added chance that maybe he doesn't play. And then this line really does skyrocket the other direction. So I like Denver -4, and I'll lay those points at home.
So I like a lot of what you said there about their road performance and things like that. I'll push back on the Doc point. Doc's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
They're going to run the same defensive scheme that they've always run. And they're not necessarily going to, I don't think he's going to install a new playbook. So I don't think that you're going to see Doc doesn't have time to install anything here. So they just got to go back to base plays that they know and are familiar with. Now, the good news is guess what? Everybody in the NBA runs the same. So it's totally fine. And even if you're throwing out some of what Griff did, and also why would you do that? The offense was great. You just need to fix the defense. The defense is basically, let's get out of some of the nonsense that we've been running and let's get back into more simplistic stuff. And a lot of that is the same stuff that they got them in trouble with Bud will be a problem here, where it's look, Brooke, they want to play drop. They want a title play and drop. And they are the best drop team in the league when they are executing well, which they've not at all year. I get that, but it will be very simple for Doc to just simplify things, which is hey, we're going to drop everything here. We'll blitz on these specific sequences. we will drop in kind of pick and roll coverage versus the Nuggets, et cetera. And like, they'll just want to get into those very basic rhythms. He's not going to like come in and do a complicated game plan for this first game. This is a bad matchup for Milwaukee. They've struggled with Denver historically. And then you throw on top of it that this is a home game. Now look, power rating, if I give the Nuggets a standard home court advantage, I have this as Nuggets -1. The Bucks have been a better team on the aggregate of the season than the Nuggets, even with the struggles of Adrian Griffin and the defense being so bad. That's how good the offense has been. That said, when the Bucks are on the road, they are worse, especially with the bench. And guess what? The Nuggets bench is night and day. Reggie Jackson's a +14 in net rating at home. He's like a -13 on the road. It is stark guy to guy to guy. Their bench plays well at home with the crowd behind them. They will run. They will exhaust the team in altitude. Even if Giannis plays, he's sick. Not great for a guy that's got to motor up and down the court in altitude. This is a low line versus that. I've got this because Denver's home court is so good. I do have it at 6. So 2 points of value. I'll go ahead and lay it with the Nuggets. I agree with most of the points, but I do think that the Doc stuff is more, it might be weird, but the best thing Doc's going to do is just be like, no more around. Let's just do what you guys know how to do. And I think that will help them. I just don't think it will help them in this particular spot, Jim.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But to the point of if things do stay the same, these Bucks have gotten off to slow starts in first quarters all season. They're 5-15 on the road against the spread in the first quarter. So that has been an issue. So unless you think he's going to solve it, which I think would be a very quick solve, you have one of the best starting teams at home in the first quarter and one of the worst starting teams on the road in the first quarter. So if things stay the same, that works for me as well.